Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings to the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn out to poem 395, Reverse Cannot Befall. Think of the word reverse as failure, and then all of a sudden this poem will open up rather easily. Emily meeting Marcus Aurelius' meditations, and again the idea, that stoic virtue of the answer to the theodicy question and why there must be pain and suffering in the world. We are in many ways back to poem 383, Exhilaration is Within. And again, the theodicy question will sit central to, I think, our reading of this poem. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've worked through our introductory set of comments where we talked about our big five in room 303. What does this text say about epistemology, what you can know, ontology, who we are, psychology, the study of the individual mind, sociology, the study of the group of the collective mind, and then finally, that question of theodicy. Why must there be pain and suffering in the world? And to what degree is it of any value? Is it propedeutic? Is it didactic? Is it instructional in some way? Now, Emily, as Stoic, is often related to this poem, and the word choice here, especially as it relates to the concept of pain or suffering. Again, reverse will be her first word. Let's enjoy it. Reverse cannot befall that fine prosperity whose sources are interior, as soon adversity. A diamond overtaken far, Bolivian ground, misfortune hath no implement could mar it, if it found. The grammar is brilliant here as she plays the game of saying nothing that happens in the outside can affect my decision to, on the interior, inside, to decide how it is that I will address the reverses, the failures. Now, many have read this as Emily's attempt to reconcile the fact that she's writing all these amazing poems and nobody is reading them really, other than the handful of folks that she occasionally shares these lines with through the form of letters. But there isn't any kind of following, there's no kind of publishing. She's unknown. And there has to be some challenges in that regards. She'll begin with the word reverse. It cannot befall, reverse failure, right? In other words, as we've said before, Emily's theodicy, how to address the question of pain and suffering, is to no longer ask, why did this happen to me, but rather learn to ask, why did this happen for me? And here she'll say, any kind of a reverse can be instructional, can be of value. Reverse cannot befall the fine prosperity, she says, whose sources are interior. Again, back to poem 383, Exhilaration is Within. It all is your attitude, in other words. She says, as soon adversity, right, the challenge from reverse to adversity. A diamond, she says, overtaken far Bolivian ground. This is her only use of Bolivian. In other words, a diamond. Think about the power of the symbol of the diamond. The diamond is unaffected by all of the other garbage that's happening around it. From reverse to adversity to now misfortune hath no implement that could mar this diamond. Now, her use of the word mar is fascinating. We will see it in poem 680. We will see it in poem 939. We will see it when we get to poem 1335 as well. And when we hit that poem, we will come back to this one. This is how she says it. Let me not mar that perfect dream by an auroral stain, but so adjust my daily night that it will come again. Not when we know the power cost. The garment of surprise was all our timid mother wore at home in paradise. Her use of this idea of mar. In other words, nothing can mar the life that I'm constructing if I build that life around an attitude, a positive attitude. Now, when we get to poem 1176, we'll hear this idea again. She says it this way: we never know how high we are till we are asked to rise. And then, if we are true to plan, our statures touch the skies. The heroism we recite would be a normal thing did not ourselves the cubits warp for fear to be a king. In other words, I think at 2a, her argument is that we must have confidence, and this is the way the scholar Wisher says it, and I love this line. We must have confidence in the, quote, the soul's invulnerability, end quote. And I like that idea a lot. At 2b, I love the word choice of the reverse and adversity and misfortune and finally mar. All of these words can be reversed. They can be understood in a completely different way. At 3a, think of all the titles that we have studied that argue not why did this happen to me, but rather why did this happen for me. Again, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations immediately comes to mind, no doubt. Finally, at 3b, do you have this kind of interior confidence where when bad things happen, you're able to say, why did this happen for me? And use it. All the reverses make you who you are. Thank you.